Warren Buffett has a net worth of $91.8 billion today, and he started investing at the young age of 11. When it comes to learning anything new, I purely believe that you should learn from people who have what you want. For example, if you want to learn how to play football, it might be a good idea to ask Cristiano Ronaldo. That is the exact logic that we're going to be using with investing, and who better to learn from than the grandfather himself, Warren Buffett. We're going to look at some of the most important things that Warren Buffett has to say about investing, and this will come in handy for any type of investment vehicle, in my opinion. So whether that be stocks, real estate, or even cryptocurrencies. We've got 5 key points to share, and make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because you'll be able to get the most use out of each one of them. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe if you want to learn how to maximize your money. And full disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything in this video is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. For each point in this video, we're going to start directly with the exact quote from Warren Buffett himself, and then I'm just going to give my interpretation of really how we can apply that in today's environment. I'm going to put a link in the description to where I got all of these quotes from. Warren Buffett says, "Somebody's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." And essentially, in simple terms, Warren Buffett really here is describing the fact that the sooner that you're able to start investing, the better, because actually investments take time to grow, and the earlier that you started, the better off you are in the long term because your tree has had a bigger time to grow. Or in the world of money, we would say our investments have had a longer time to actually grow. I talk about this concept a lot, and it's called compound interest. If you'd like to know more about compound interest, I talk about it in this video here, so check that out. But this point is especially important if you are getting to a later stage at your life and you might be in a position where you actually haven't invested anything at all. And a lot of people, when they get to an older age, do come and say, actually, I wish I started when I was younger because the money that I had at that point could have been well invested and be worth a lot more today. And really, it doesn't matter if you are late to the game. It's of course better to start now than never. And there's also a quote that I really love. It says, "The best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today." So it's never too late to get started. Start adding to your money pot for your investments to grow and continue to go on in that fashion so that even, for example, in 10, 20, 30 years time, you'd be in a much better position than not having done anything at all. Our second point is on the screen here with us now, and Warren Buffett says, "The best thing that can happen to us is when a great company gets into temporary trouble. We want to buy them when they're on the operating table." And really, I've been able to summarize this one as buy good investments cheap. The reason for that is that if we have a look here at what he's saying, is that actually when a great company gets into temporary trouble, normally we see the price of that company dip slightly. And I had seen this recently with Tesla. I can't remember the exact date or the article now because that was just a couple of months ago, but essentially they had like a situation where there was like some default in the car manufacturing and they needed to recall some cars, and that instantly had dropped the price. If you had saw that as an opportunity to actually buy the declined price when it was much cheaper, because you knew that actually Tesla long term were going to benefit anyway and still going to do really well, that could have been a really good opportunity. And this is what Warren Buffett, I believe, is essentially trying to explain. It's always a good idea to buy good investments cheap. Sometimes we can't actually time when that will be, but his philosophy here is one that I think has done well for him, so definitely something for us to pay attention to at least. Third one that we have on the list is that Warren Buffett says, "There are all kinds of businesses that Charlie Munger and I don't understand." Charlie Munger is his business partner. But that doesn't cause us to stay up at night. It just means that we go on to the next one, and that's what the individual investor should do. Okay, so my interpretation of this is to invest in things that you understand. And the reason for that is, if we look here, there are many kind of businesses that Warren Buffett himself, he doesn't even understand, and he clearly openly says that. If you're in a situation where you're investing in something that you don't understand, then of course it could be really easy at that point to, blame the actual losses on something else rather than taking full responsibility to say, yep, I did all my research on the investment, actually something that I could never have planned happened, and I just have to accept that because I made my own informed decisions on that. So investing in things that you understand is good when things go great, but it's also good when things don't go as planned, because either way, you're responsible and you can learn from your mistakes as well. Also, doing research is absolutely fantastic because it allows you to maybe spot hidden trends that maybe other people are missing out on, or it just allows you to actually be informed about certain things in the marketplace that might give you the competitive edge. So doing your research is actually a really good idea in any situation. Let's go on into the next one. Here, Warren Buffett says, only buy something that you'd be perfectly happy to hold if the market shut down for 10 years. I love that. So I've taken that to mean personally, invest for the long term. And I personally think this is a great philosophy. One thing that has made Warren Buffett extremely successful is that his thinking is extremely long term. So for example, if you're somebody that's a day trader, this actual information may not be as relevant for you. But if you're a day trader that maybe takes the profits that you get from day trading and then store them into long-term investments, then this could be a great part of the overall plan as well for yourself to really maximize the profits that you are making long-term. By thinking about investing in assets that will be around and actually appreciate 10 years on from now, it really gets us to think about the long-term picture of what we're investing in, and is it actually something that we can see supporting us later down the line as well. Sometimes things do really, really well short-term, but what good is that if it just fades out really, really quickly and you weren't actually able to reap the rewards from your investment when you actually needed it most? Warren Buffett says, when we own portions of outstanding businesses with outstanding management, our favorite holding period is forever. And this one is, again, something that I can simplify in a really nice way, and that's hold, or for all of you cryptocurrency guys out there, hodl. And really what that means is that when we actually have something that is really, really fantastic, you know, we own portions of outstanding businesses with outstanding management, then why should we actually, you know, get rid of the high performing asset or something that we really believe could do very well over the long term? For example, it might be the case that if you invested in Amazon a long time ago and you could see that doing really well for the future, that might be a stock that you just never want to get rid of. On the other hand, for something like Bitcoin, it might be the case that you really, really just want to be able to hold that for the long term because you believe that's just going to keep appreciating in value. Warren Buffett actually has something called the 90-10 strategy that he wrote in a letter to his shareholders many years ago. And I just want to quickly cover that to get more about Warren Buffett's investment style, his philosophy, and maybe it's just something that we can pay attention to just really embed this point a little bit further. So Buffett's 90-10 strategy. In 2014, he actually said, "My advice to the trustee could not be more simple. Put 10% of the cash in short-term government bonds and 90% in very low-cost S&P 500 index. I suggest Vanguards. I believe the Trust's long-term results from this policy will be superior to those attained by most investors." So what does Warren Buffett mean by this? He suggests actually just putting 90% of your investable money into index funds which just track the market. In the case of the S&P 500, that's one that tracks America's largest 500 companies by market cap, and the rest into bonds, which are seen as a much, much safer form of investment. Long term, that could be a great idea. And will that be the same for the future going forward? We don't know. Maybe it is the case that cryptocurrencies could be the best vehicle to invest in moving forward. That's something that we're going to have to wait for time to tell. But personally, I really, really love this strategy. And for myself, even when I'm making short-term profits from trading, for example, all of that is in the effort to actually accumulate for longer term investments that will actually do really well for me later down the line in my life. So that is really, really a great point. And it's clear to see why Warren Buffett has really been able to boost his net worth over time to nearly $100 billion. Again, if you wanted to see an example of how this might look like over the long term, I've got this video up here why I'm investing £20,000 in 2021 into a certain type of investment vehicle. And with that being said, if you've really, really loved this video, make sure you give me a massive thumbs up for Warren Buffett's investing lessons. And most importantly as well, I'll have 2 videos on the screen here which will show you more about how to maximize your money. So you definitely want to go ahead and check that out. Share this with your friends because this information is definitely not something that we were taught about when we were younger in the school system. It's not something that's widely available there. actually in the open. So the more people that get educated, the more everybody gets the benefit. And with that being said, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. We're going to have amazing content coming out every single week on how to make, manage and multiply your money, so you definitely want to be around for that. And with that being said, that's everything. I'll see you guys in the next videos and have an amazing rest of the day.